Do you have any hobbies?
I have a few. I really enjoy taking like walks. I really enjoy taking care of animals, hence my pet shop.
And the zoo, I'd
And
suppose.
yeah, work in progress, but yes, very much so. Yeah, just anything kind of involving life and nature.
Hobbies. Let's see. My hobbies include bullying cursive, having about 30 pets. I do not have a hobby in killing people. That's not real, and you
Uh-huh.
don't know that anyway. I really like gardening and curing villagers.
Oh yeah, I love gardening. Gardening's like one of my biggest passions. But other than that, I love solving mysteries. It's the whole reason I started this place. I love helping people. That's one of my favorite things to do is just do whatever I can to help somebody else out.
I do actually have a couple of hobbies. My main ones being an advantageous mystery writer in my spare time.
What would you say is your biggest accomplishment?
I think that my biggest accomplishment currently is most likely my novel. Well, my not finished novel, but my manuscript that I never got to release yet.
Hmm. That's definitely a hard one, but I would say um, probably starting this village. I have always lived in a forest, this forest to be exact, and um, I was just looking for some more food and things to help me survive when I came across Ina and met Ina, and we just decided to stick together, and it has turned into so much more than that, and it definitely feels like an accomplishment. Definitely my greatest one.
I would honestly say this place, Blue Flower Inc., my detective business, I think that building a legal system in a place with no laws is a bit of a challenge, but I've managed to make it work. And Buzzy's locked up now because of it. And I think that while, it's never good that somebody's in jail, I think that Buzzy has an opportunity there to get better and to, figure out himself and kind of learn from his mistakes. And I'm very proud that I was able to put that into action, that when that horrible thing happened to Jaden, that I was able to get them some justice and the justice that they wanted and deserved.
Biggest accomplishment, probably the machine that I've built over the past, months. I mean, that thing has gotten insanely big and also plans to just keep growing. And when I finally get to use it, I'll get some goddamn closure. But you don't need to know about that. That's not really why I'm running for mayor here. I think it's pretty obvious that's not why.
Yeah.
Why do you
Um,
say that like you think it is? It's not. I've
so
made that
what's
very clear.
motivated you to run for mayor?
I'm getting out of my seat because this is a serious answer.
Okay.
This village has shit police. Oh my god. I have a personal story about this. Let me sit back down in my chair. My personal story is that you know the domestic terrorist who's now in jail, Buzzy. Yes, correct. We're all
Yeah.
aware. Blew up a guy's house, killed his kid. I was on the police manhunt for that man because I was a lawyer. And first off, as a lawyer, I'm supposed to be investigating the crime scene, not actually doing the policing. Yet there I was because we had no other police who were currently present. Cursive doesn't count. Cursive's everywhere and always chases people. But anyway, I'm the lawyer chasing after this man. There's no protocols, I'm told. I'm not told how to arrest him. I'm not told any protocols about ender pearls or anything at all. I'm not told anything. I end up beating this man to death on accident, allowing him to escape. I shouldn't be able to beat a man to death on accident because I don't know what I'm supposed to do to arrest him. Thank God that he surrendered, or else he probably would have escaped because we have no police protocols and not enough to police to actually do the policing. Hell, I could walk out of this room right now, go rob like 8 people, come home, and the only one who would know would be you because I just told you. And I'm not going to do that because I'm not stupid enough to leave a witness, but my point still stands that I could do that.
Well, I was one of the founding members of this village. I have seen it go from nothing but trees and hills and mountains to an actual community where we've grown and built um, not only like a family here, but like an economy. We've built a structure here. And so I just feel a lot of passion for continuing that and growing that and making others feel safe and secure here in a place that has become a home.
I think my previous candidacy working as a magistrate in the old town that I worked at was my prime reasoning for it, and I hope to bring the same level of work experience and intuition that I had there that I can bring here.
Well, I love that we live in this beautiful, beautiful forest. It's so green, so lush, and I think that it needs to be protected. And I definitely fear that should the wrong person be put in power, that they might not value nature as much as I do. And we need nature to survive. Nature, we need to respect it as much as it respects us. And so we need to give back to it as much as possible. So I want to put into place laws that protect our environment and protect the habitats of all of these different animals as well as ourselves. But also, I think that my position as detective is telling enough that I do care about law and I value justice. I think that if someone does something wrong, they need to not only be punished for it, but learn from it and have the opportunity to learn from it. And I don't think people are really going to learn from their legal mistakes by not being punished. They need to take some time, be taught, hey, this is bad because here's why, and work to make amends. So that's something that I definitely want to put into place if I get elected.
What is your most prized possession?
Are you willing to take a walk with me?
Sure.
Come with me. Come with me. We're going on a little adventure into my old house. My old house is a pretty nice looking place, you know. I do plan to, you know, make this castle my new home, but this old house I still cherish to an extent. But in this old house, come on in, come on in. It's not this, but I just thought I should mention this banner. It's really silly. Anyway, come on down. This right here, you can hold it, is the first netherite hoe on the server, to my knowledge. I know that it was the first because I got the achievement first, and I didn't know of anyone else who got the achievement, and everyone else had stated they didn't have the achievement. So, by all accounts, I'm the first one to have it. So, you know, there's that. Please hand it back, or I'll
Yep.
thank you anyway. Um,
That is actually a pretty tough question. Currently, I think that would probably have to be my axe. It was passed down to me when I was a child.
That is a difficult one, but I would probably say um, any of my animals out in my stable next to my house. Um, I have quite a few, specifically my horse named Advil. Has been with me for quite a long time.
Um, well, for me, it's this tag from my childhood. It's attached to my ear. It's something that is given to druids of high class around my home village, and when I had to leave, it's one of the few things that I was able to keep with me that reminded me of home because everything else had to just be supplies for surviving. And so this was one of the few things that I was able to keep that reminds me of where I came from and how I grew up and what I aim to be.
Yeah. What is your best color?
My best color. I mean, personally speaking, I think I do pretty well with my light blues and my dark greens.
Green, definitely.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I feel like that's kind of a gimme, but green is definitely my best color. It looks so good on me, first off. But second off, it's, color of nature. Gotta love that. It's a color that I was surrounded with growing up, so it kind of has some sentimental, nostalgic value.
Definitely green or purple. Little
Yeah.
biased to green, but purple has always been my favorite pop, and I actually have so much purple in my home.
Purple.
Yeah, that's fair.
Purple.
What is your greatest strength?
I would definitely say my greatest strength is the fact that I may be an optimist, but I also am not dumb. I understand that bad things do happen, and I know how to go about life when bad things do happen. I just try to look on the positive side of anything that does happen to keep myself happy. And I think I have a very good balance of being an optimist, but also a realist, and understanding that bad things happen and it sucks, and you got to move on and just find the next right thing to do in your life.
My greatest strength is probably my persuasion. I'm very good at talking someone into a conversation or out of conversation. I learned that from my parents.
Greatest strength? Probably because I'm one of two people to actually have a fucking full set of max netherite armor. Probably because I've actually got experience fighting for some reason. I couldn't tell you why. I've actually I actually have a somewhat of a decent brain to actually form strategies and see issues that people don't see. Like the police not being well funded enough, like how Ina was always in the wrong, but no, everybody had to side with her for some reason because what I did was morally incorrect and technically wrong, and then everyone cries about it. But even though technically Ina instigated all three incidents, I was the wrong one. Okay. What else? I build cool castles. I do that. That's pretty cool. We're standing in one. This is my
Yeah.
throne.
I would definitely say my just I don't even know how to put it into words, but I think my greatest strength would be my devotion to the village. Once I set my mind to something, I want to get it done, want to make things better, and I think what I'm doing here running for mayor is a perfect representation of that.
What would you say is your greatest weakness?
If we were talking 6 months ago, I think my greatest weakness would most likely be my ability to work, ability to like create and do other things. But as of now, I've gotten a lot better with it. There's still room to grow there, though.
Probably my temper. I mean, I know I mentioned the Ina thing, but acting out of anger there, I still had a good enough reason. But then there's also times where I get myself into situations that I really shouldn't be in, like the time I fought 5 people at once, took down half of my armor's durability, and then I had to spend like 16 hours repairing it. Because I was angry about something. I was already also high on something. I don't exactly know what, but I don't care. I was conscious. Yeah, that probably would be it, my anger. I don't plan to make any changes or better myself. It's just a thing I live with now.
My greatest weakness, I would probably say my greatest weakness is also the fact that I'm an optimist. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, in the sense that I'm really optimistic in the sense that I look on the bright side of everything. I think that there's good in everyone, but sometimes that does lead me to kind of get blindsided on occasion because I think someone's such a good person and then they just end up not being that way. And I'm working on it. I'm working on learning from it, but I would definitely say that's my greatest weakness.
My inability to really not necessarily handle, but be okay with confrontation. I would prefer to quickly resolve things and avoid as much damage as possible. I know some of my competitors are quite the opposite, so I do view it as a weakness per se. That isn't to say I won't do what I need to do for the village, but it's not my preferred method of getting things resolved.
What do you think makes someone a good leader?
Not a little bitch who isn't afraid to do anything. Like Liz is on this all, oh, I love peace. I don't want people to fight. Well, guess what? Some situations call for a little bit of force. You know, that force being a sword. Yeah. And I mean the force doesn't always have to be used. Yes, I understand that. Campaigning for nothing but peace is not a good idea, because then you make yourself look like a little bitch, which then makes you everybody else's bitch, and then it's just a downfall all of a trend that nothing comes back out of. I mean, seriously, when you're someone's bitch forever, and that is what Liz would do if they were elected. And well, I can't see many people voting for me, but I sure as hell hope they don't vote for Liz, because that is the worst campaign plan I've ever seen. Peace. What are we at war with someone? Campaigning for peace. What peace? I'm doing the same thing, but promising, you know, um, actual force to be reckoned with.
I think being able to listen to the people that you're leading is one of the most important qualities in a leader, because you can, have everything else about you right. You can be a good public speaker. You can, you can have good ideas for how things should be ran, but if you don't talk to the people that you're leading, then you're not a leader, you're a dictator. And I think that it's so important as a leader to be able to listen to the people that you're leading, take their ideas. If you need to edit them a little bit, that's completely fine, but making sure the people that you're leading are happy is a big part of leading. So to do that, you need to be able to listen to the people that you're leading.
Honestly, I think it's just anybody who has passion for whatever it is they're trying to lead or be a leader of. Um, I think that that's probably one of the biggest things. Another one is the ability to look at different perspectives, realize that we all live differently, and need to consider that with one another.
I believe that a good leader should have experience under their belt. They should be qualified. They should not have any charges pressed against them. They shouldn't uh, have a very odd way of doing things. They should be very calm, collected, very straight to the point, very methodic in their work, not at all like sporadic or anything.
What does your perfect weekend look like?
Um, Let me think about that. My perfect weekend. I would probably say my perfect weekend would have to do with reading, but I feel as though I would have a lot more fun working on something than just staying inside.
Okay, so like a mix of both.
Yeah, a bit of baking, a bit of building, a bit of reading, a little bit of writing, a mixture of the sort.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on the mood, to be honest, but probably something involving animals. I spend a lot of time in the shop and here at the zoo, kind of just hanging out and making sure that they feel happy, and when I feel like they're taken care of, I feel taken care of. So, yeah.
Weekend where someone doesn't accuse me for a crime, where a crime doesn't happen, where I don't have to hit anyone, where I don't have to, do anything, where I can actually be of stasis, and then suddenly you remember everything from my past life that nags on me so long. That's the whole reason I built this machine. But I'd like to have a weekend where I actually have the memories that I once had stolen from me, where I actually understand the abilities that were once so given to me, and I'd really, really like to stick it to that asshole that keeps me here, but I really can't, say who, because I don't even know who he is at this point. I don't even know if he's real. He could just be someone on the other side of a candle that I don't even understand. He could just be my subconscious. I don't even understand it at this point, but I just go with the flow. I assume because he answers, or because he used to answer, that he answers for others, that he's real. For all I know, they could be entertaining the delusion for me, and that I could never be let out of this cycle. I could be stuck here forever on a plane of existence that no one's even able to contact me, and I could be delusional and not even know it.
That sounds stressful.
My life is stress. It's
Um,
been stress.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so there was a time a while ago where I went on a vacation with like Ina, Liz, and some others. And basically, we just went out to this clearing in the middle of a beautiful flower forest. And we just sat down, we had a picnic, we did some diving into the lake that we were by. It was gorgeous. And that's definitely my perfect weekend. I'd love to do that again with some other friends as well, because I think just being around that nature, having good food with good friends, it's just the perfect weekend. And maybe being able to like camp there would be perfect.
I assume that would also be your answer to what's the most fun you've had since coming to Cedar Village.
Yes, definitely. I think getting to know everyone in the village has been fantastic, and although there have been some ups and downs, I definitely think that it's I've made a lot of great friends here. I've found some great companions in, Bonesley, Java, Rosemary, all of my pets at home. And so I definitely think that that must have been one of my favorite things upon coming to the village, is just meeting people and going on that vacation.
Yeah. There was this one time that actually Vi, Sunny, and Win took Ina and myself out on like kind of a mini vacation, and it was super far away. We actually had to trek through the Nether um, to get there. It was so far away, but it was so fun and actually so relaxing, and it was still in a forest. It felt like home.
Yeah.
I honestly get really anxious leaving the forest, hence why I plant so many trees everywhere. Um, but it still was comforting, and I felt protected there with them. And yeah, definitely that for sure.
What's the most fun you've had since coming to Cedar Village?
Bold of you to assume I've had fun.
Right. So the answer's no. Cool. Um,
So considering the the first week I've been here was full of like murder charges and death and explosions and being a prime witness and such. I wouldn't say that the first week was my best experience here, but I would say that meeting people after the fact has helped, and meeting some, albeit odd people, to say the least, some people I never thought I would see in my life.
what's your favorite comfort food?
Hmm. I think definitely fish and chips. Can't go wrong with it.
Yeah. Do you get those from Heron's Perch?
Always. Can't go wrong with Heron's Perch. I frequent Heron's Perch.
My favorite comfort food, and this is not at all sponsored, by the way. Nicholas, do not mess this up. We moved here for a reason. Do not mess this up. Anyway, I would say my biggest comfort food is the bread that I probably bake. It's very comforting. It's very wholesome. It's very nice. It's nothing's out of the ordinary with it. It's very normal stuff. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, what sort of bread is it?
We have beetroot bread. We have normal carrot bread. We have potato bread. There's some variety.
I don't have one. I can't taste.
You can't taste?
I'm not human. I thought we made this clear like a while ago.
Oh.
I eat to survive. I don't eat to taste.
What
As
about like
mushy.
texture?
There's mushy, and then there's crunchy, and then there's like gooey. I like gooey, but the only gooey food I ever ate was rotten flesh, and that made me sick.
Yeah, that's probably not a good one.
I survived like 3 days on it.
Yikes.
I lived. It was very gooey and yummy, delicious.
Huh.
I kind of want to eat more. Want to refine the cuisine, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not here to talk about food.
Books. Books, hands down. I love eating books. It definitely helps after a long day where the case that I'm working on has been super tough and nothing seems to be going right. I'll sit down, open a good book, and just start chomping away.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Have you tried it yet? Like, it's fantastic.
I have not tried eating a book. I
It's
don't
so
think my teeth are
comforting.
designed for it.
I mean, I think everyone's teeth are designed for anything if they try hard enough.
I feel like some dentists might disagree with you.
Actually, 9 out of 10 dentists agree, and then there's fucking Gerald.
Cool.
Oh, are we talking about books? Right.
Yeah. Who's someone you really admire?
I think that the biggest person I admire. Are we talking historically or are we talking in general?
Either?
Um, Historically speaking, I think my biggest inspiration has to be the writer George Orwell, who
Mm.
wrote his novels based on um, communistic ideals and how they shape a person into this greedy, like nightmarish creature, which is shown in his book Animal Farm.
And in general?
Um, I would probably have to say that my father is probably my biggest inspiration.
Hmm. Any particular reason for that?
No comment. No comment.
Okay.
Probably my first thought is Ina, but that feels so obvious. So I would probably say Vianite. Actually, somebody I am running against, one of my opponents. But Vi, um, though they showed up to the village later, um, Vi has contributed so much, and he has single-handedly helped keep us safe and get to the bottom of any situations that have come up. So I definitely look up to them and think that they're definitely a good role model on the village.
No one here has impressed me in the slightest, other than Vi, because Vi is an actual impressive detective that I enjoy working with. That's it. Vi is the only one that has actually impressed me at all.
Huh.
You run a decent business, but that's not really enough to impress me. Anyone can run a business if they actually have some conviction and know how to handle money.
I would probably say Sunny. I think that they do a great job with the therapy office, and I think they're doing a lot of good with it. I think that Sunny also is just somebody who's always honest and has such a good heart that I feel like everyone likes them, and I definitely admire them for that. And I admire that they're not afraid to say how they feel no matter what, and just being purely honest. I really admire them for that.
What is one goal you have for the next year?
I think my biggest goal for the next year is to finally finish that manuscript I've been working on and finally be able to push it out to the public for once and be able to show that I'm, worth something to other people.
Finish the machine, actually use it, and get the closure I so desire. Other than that, be mayor, really, I guess.
To honestly double the size of our village, bring some more activities, as well as residents if we can, and really expand our community. And turn it into more of a town, make it bigger, keep growing.
I want to begin enriching the environment around Cedar Village. I think that this forest is beautiful and that it's beautiful all on its own, but everything in life needs a little help sometimes. And I want to be able to plant more trees, plant bigger trees, maybe get some exotic flowers around. It'll look beautiful, and not only will it be good for nature, but I feel like it'll be good for the morale of the village, especially after everything that's been happening fairly recently with all the mysteries going on. I feel like everyone in the village could use a little bit of a pick me up. And who doesn't like seeing a flower on their way to work or, a nice tree on their way to their friend's house?
Do you like waking up or falling asleep better?
I don't think I've ever slept. Legitimately. I don't think I've ever slept. I think it's just been a constant state of woken up.
Huh.
I hate it.
Have you tried sleeping?
Yes, several times.
Oh.
Doesn't work. I don't care though. More time in the day.
I prefer waking up because usually when I fall asleep, it takes me quite a long time to be able to actually fall asleep.
Ooh. I would say waking up. Definitely. Waking up early with a book in hand and a bottle of water and watching the sunrise is probably one of my favorite things.
Definitely waking up. Going to sleep is definitely nice because being in Cedar can be very tiring sometimes, but waking up is honestly so fun because it's never a dull day, to be quite honest, and it's always interesting finding out what each day is gonna hold.